My current ruler is 18 years old, and he has the 3 best ruler traits in the entire game unlocked already. He is industrious, strict, and scholar, so no comet events, of course. And all of that even though he's just 18 years old and became my ruler just in the last month. And this is not just this ruler. My last 3 rulers all had 3 of the best personality traits that you'll find in the entire game. My ruler before that was also industrious, but also well-connected and scholar. And the ruler before that was an entrepreneur as well as an inspiring leader and well-connected. And now if you think that this all was lucky or that I've saved scum for hours, which, by the way, wouldn't even be possible on an 18-year-old ruler, then you are very, very wrong, because over here was no luck involved, as well as no exploits involved. And I guarantee you, you can do this with every single ruler from 1444 until 1821. So if you want to know how this could be done, then this is definitely the right video for you. And I'm not just talking about these 3 traits that you can see right now. I'm talking about the fact that you can literally script your ruler to get whatever ruler trait you want him to be whenever you want it to happen. But enough of the intro, let's get right into the video and let's get right into the detailed explanation. So now you can see I'm in the game as the Bohemian Commonwealth right now in the year 1581. And this is just a very ideal situation right now to show you how I did that, what you just saw in the intro. And the basic idea is that there are a lot of missions in the game. Not joking, there are a lot of missions, such as this one over here for the Bohemian Commonwealth, that changes your ruler's personality. Okay, so for example, in this case, my ruler's personality would become industrious, which of course is a pretty nice personality because it gives 10% more goods produced on your entire country. Okay, and you can see this one has it already. I'm going to talk about that in a second, how I got that, but let me just show you how you can actually use that beyond your own missions, okay? Because you can see this is of course my own mission. I can click it once and then it's gone, right? But there is a big but. That's also why I'm currently in the war with the Mamluks over here and why I have a very small new Poland as my subject. Actually, what I did is I, of course, had the normal Poland, I annexed it, and then I released Mazovia. You can see there are no Mazovian cores over here because this is basically Mazovia, okay? So I released Mazovia as a vassal and then I made them a personal union, okay? If you don't know how to make subjects a personal union, then you should definitely watch my detailed video about that I did a while ago. But the basic idea is that you have a subject such as Mazovia, and then you force with the special, with a special type that of course, I have no vassal right now that is a monarchy, so I can't really do that. But there is a subject interaction that lets you force your dynasty on their throne. Okay, and what happens then is that they get a weak claimed heir or no heir and your dynasty. Okay, immediately. And now if you do that just before you are able to release them, then you can just force your dynasty on their throne. Of course, you still have the royal marriage and so on, right? And then you release that subject so that it's an independent nation, and then you claim their throne. Okay, and then after 5 years, after the truce is over, you go in and PU them. Okay, that's how you create personal unions from nothing, basically, right? That's exactly what I did with this Poland over here, with exception that I fed this Mazovia with the needed provinces that you can see over here, so that they could then form Poland while they were independent. So that I could then PU that small Poland that just formed. Now what's interesting is that this Poland, as it's formed completely new, of course, it gets completely new missions, okay? It gets their complete mission tree reset. Now, I've already completed these missions over here once to get this event once, which is needed because it triggers a university over here, as you can see. I actually recorded that, how that happened, so you can probably just see that on the screen right now. So I completed that mission tree already once for my other personal union Poland, and then I annexed them and let Mazovia form a new Poland, okay? And that's now how it got to the point where now these missions are reset and can be clicked again, okay? Now the interesting part is that this last mission over here, the University of Krakow, this actually triggers an event that triggers a university in Krakow, but if there is already a university, which in my case there is, right, then this event changes its rewards towards that your ruler gets the scholar trait, okay? Now, of course, this AI Poland's ruler is my ruler, okay, because they are a personal union, which means that if they click that mission, my ruler will get the reward from their missions, okay, because it's also their ruler. Now, in my case, my ruler is pretty old and he has already 3 stats, he is already scholar, so this doesn't really make sense, right, to do that on this ruler. So I just want to right now piece out the Mamluks, which, by the way, I'm right now creating a Mamluk PU as well, okay? This is the war for the Mamlukan throne. And if you want to know how the Mamlukan PU works, it's basically the same as I just explained, but with the slight difference that you, of course, need the AI to form the Mamluks, which they need to have the Ikta reform for, right? So what I did in this case is I released a vassal of Fadl, which is in the Syrian desert located, right? So, and they were, of course, Sunni, and they were a monarchy, so they chose to be an Ikta tier 1 reform. Now, of course, I've full annexed the Mamluks before, and then I fed the Kaira province to Fadl, to my Fadl subject that had the Ikta reform. And even though they were a subject, they could still form the Mamluks now, because they are Sunni, they have the Ikta reform, and they own the Kaira core, okay? And now, after that happened, I had a Mamluk vassal, okay? So what I did is then the exact same thing as I just explained with the Mazovia. So I forced the religion on them so that they were Christian. Then I forced my dynasty on them. Then I released them and claimed their throne. And this situation now is 5 years later, where I'm already after the truce. I immediately declared for this war, and now I can piece them out for taking the union with the Mamluks that I had completely scripted, okay? There is no luck involved whatsoever in this entire process, okay? So you can see no one really cares. I can just take the union, and they will even have positive relations already because I gave their cores back before where they were Fuddle. But anyways, now you see I'm at peace, and I have 2 very vital personal unions, which are the Mamluks and Poland. Now I want to, of course, get a new ruler, okay, because as I said, this ruler is very old and he has already 3 stats, so it doesn't really matter. This ruler served its purpose. I'm going to simply abdicate the ruler, and as I have, of course, the Bohemian, elective monarchy, it also works with a normal elective monarchy. What happens now is I get, of course, an event for the election of a new ruler, okay? I have a lot of options because I fulfill all the requirements for these options, so I can literally choose from which of these I find is the best, okay? And I think it's actually either the 651 over here or the 633 over here, which I think I will take the 633 because he's a little bit more balanced, of course, right? Okay, so let me just take that ruler, right? Now, of course, you can see every of my personal union overtook that ruler. I even inherited my earlier personal union of Bremen. You're going to see that in a second why I did that. But what I now have is an 18-year-old ruler with pretty nice stats, and he would gain a random personality within the next month tick. Okay? But now, of course, what I can do is I've basically stored a few personalities for that new ruler, which first of all I can click my own mission, okay, which now lets that ruler become industrious, okay. So there we go. I can even click this mission, whatever, doesn't really matter. But now my ruler is industrious, okay? Now if I let 1 day pass, you're going to see that this updates because he already has his first trait, right? So now you can see the next personality is gained in 10 years, not in 1 month, okay? Which theoretically, it would give you time, okay? So you could theoretically just store 1 personality for the case of your ruler death, right? So that you can immediately click that and then have 10 years time for the preparation of the next one, right? So in my case, I've already prepared all 3 of these personalities, which the next one will be a very, very strong personality, which is gained from the Mamlukan mission tree, okay? The Mamluk missions actually has 1 mission that requires nothing before that, you know? It's simply a straight up first mission over here, which is called Campaign in Tabriz, okay? Now this literally only requires them to own 1 single state, and that's this state of Azerbaijan over here, okay? And this mission, if they complete that, this gives literally the ruler trait strict for their ruler, and of course also because their ruler, their personal union, is my ruler, it would be a strict personality for my ruler. And that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. So I'm just going to feed the needed provinces to the Mamluks that I've prepared over here already. So now they actually have the needed provinces to complete that mission, and now of course the AI already takes a few days to do that. But if you have a look on this ruler over here, he's 18 years old, right? He has already 1 very good trait, and he would only get the next trait normally in 10 years. But now if I let just a few days pass to wait for the Mamluks to click their mission, you're going to see, there we go. This ruler is now strict as well, with 18 years old. Okay, he is industrious and strict, and this is no luck involved. This is 100% scripted. But it's not over, of course, because I have another very, very strong personality stored with my missions under my personal union of Poland. And now all I need to do is basically I need to let them click this mission over here to trigger this event, which will then turn my ruler into a scholar ruler, okay? Which means that only this one is already completed, this one is already completed, this one is already completed. The only one that I've basically kept so that, you know, I could control when they click this mission over here is the first mission over here, where they need this 1 province of Belts, which is not required to form Poland, so you can just easily keep that province and basically completely control this mission tree with that. So now I want them to click that, and that's why I'm going to feed them these 2 provinces. And now you're going to see they're going to click these missions 1 by 1. You're going to see that, there we go. The first one already went there, the second one over there, and now the last one. And yeah, while they click the last one, just enjoy the view on my crazy strong ruler over here that is 18 years old. Now they're going to click the mission, trigger the event, and there is my scholar personality. And this is just, in my opinion, true beauty to see an 18-year-old ruler with great stats that has already 3 personality types, and probably a lot of people would say that these 3 are the 3 best personality types in the entire game, okay? And this 18-year-old ruler has all 3 of them right away with just a single month passing by from him coming to the throne. And now comes the best part about this. This is actually 100% repeatable, okay? This is 100% repeatable. You can literally do that on every single ruler you have. And the way to do that is very, very simple, because I told you already, now that these missions are clicked, you cannot, of course, let them click again, right? But you can reset the mission tree if another nation forms that nation again. So now if the Mamluks get full annexed, for example, by myself, right? Of course, I would have to wait like 50 years for that right now, but I can also just, declare war on them for just a little bit of stability. With no truce, this wouldn't even cost me any aggressive expansion, So I can just annex that Mamluks again, and then I can repeat the whole process, of course not with the same nation, because it doesn't exist, but for example with Syria, okay? And if then Syria is gone, I can do the same thing with Anizar over here. And then if that nation is also gone, I can do the same thing with one of these nations, Medina or Shammah. It basically, the idea is that you can do that with any nation that is Sunni when it's released, and that is a monarchy when it's released, because you as a monarchy released that, of course, right? Because then they will always choose the Iqta reform. You can feed them Caira. They literally need only one province to form the Mamluks, okay? Which is, of course, Caira, right? So you just need to feed any Sunni nation with the Iqta reform that is your vassal, Caira, and then they will form the Mamluks, and you can do the exact same thing as I just explained with Fadl. And you can do the same thing for Poland. Now, of course, there are a few less tags that have Polish culture, but in my case, for example, I can do this easily 2 more times with Silesia, for example, that also can form Poland, and with Glogau over here that also can form Poland, right? And now I could release them, force my dynasty on their throne, them the provinces they need to form Poland, then release them, claim their throne, PU the new Poland, and all of these Polish missions that were clicked right now are reset again, okay? And should you ever run out of the actual tags to do that, right? So for example, you did that now with Mazovia and Silesia and with Glogau and so on, right? And you cannot get another nation to become Polish culture or something. Of course, you could theoretically force that in several ways, but even if you cannot do that anymore, or you don't want to do that anymore, you can still do that with client states, okay? You can still just create a client state anywhere in Polish culture, and they will be Polish culture, and then they can form that nation again that you want them to form, in this case Poland, for example, or same would go for the Mamluks, of course. And of course, client states get unlocked for everyone on like tag 23 Diplo, right? Tag 23 Diplo, if I did that with Silesia and Glogau right now, right? And this guy, for example, lives until he's 60, and the next guy also until he's 60, and the next guy after that as well, then I'm easily on 1700 already, okay? And then I have client states, and I can repeat that all day, all night. Now, these are 2 of the, in my opinion, easiest repeatable tags that you can always repeat again and again with strongest personality types, okay? So strict and scholar, that's like crazy if you have that on every single ruler, right? Now, there are, of course, also a few other tags that are reformable that you could theoretically abuse for their mission tree, which includes, for example, Spain. With Spain, you could get the expansionist trait, so the trait that gives more colonial growth over and over again, and actually letting the AI form Spain is pretty easy in my opinion, and that mission is also on the very beginning of their mission tree, so very easy to complete. And there is also, if you do it on the Commonwealth, which is really hard to let the AI form that, but then you could gain the industrious trait from that as well, over and over again. Another very, very easy one would be Prussia. You can let Prussia even form as a subject already. So you can, you can PU any nation and then let it form Prussia afterwards. And if you do that, you can very easily gain the Conqueror trait from the Prussian mission tree. So that is also there all the time if you want to. And then a very, very hard one would be France. Theoretically, you could actually let AI nations form France over and over again. And it is possible, if you feed that AI subject, France, that you made a personal union, if you feed them the entire France region basically, then they can click the mission that gives them the Iron Crowned ruler personality, which gives minus 20% core creation costs on your ruler, of course, as a trait. So that is a very strong reward, but also, I have to admit, a very hard thing to do over and over again. But you maybe can do it once if you want to, for one ruler that you want to conquer a lot with. So keep that in mind. And these were the repeatable ones that you can do theoretically over and over again, okay? But of course, the interesting part begins if you think about nations that are not formable, so that you cannot really reset missions. I mean, you could, but it's really, really hard for the AI nations, right? So you can basically do that once. For example, if you're talking about my previous ruler over here that I had when I started this recording, he was industrious, well-advised, and scholar. And these, of course, also not happen through luck or something, or through hours and hours of save scumming. This was a scripted thing that I had on the ruler with like 22 years or something old as well, okay? Which you would otherwise normally not be able to get, right? To get that, I actually use the Finnish mission tree, because you see the Finnish mission tree is very interesting, that it actually gives you 3 ruler traits that you can all get scripted on your personal union subject if you make Finland a personal union, right? And actually it is very easy. You just need to have them complete their very first mission where they get 100% of the force limit, which you can actually use, while they are your subject, you go to war and then you subsidize them and so on. They build to 100% force limit, right? They click that mission and then you release them and they can click their second mission also, because they need to be independent for that, right? And then, of course, you need to let them become independent anyways, because you want to claim their throne and make them a personal union, right? So after you did that, they will already have unlocked the first 2 missions where they need to be independent for. So after that, you can literally get the other missions done in a very scripted way that you can completely control, okay? For the industrious trade, for example, you simply need to feed the province of Dallas-Cogan to them, right? And that's all. That's all. That is all it needs for them to click that mission, and your ruler becomes industrious. And then for the well-advised or well-connected and scholar traits, you actually need to build the 2 main provinces, of Finland up a little bit. You have to build like a few buildings and develop it a few times. And then you have to subsidize them heavily, with, basically all you got for 1 month. And then they will get a level 2 admin advisor. In my case, they got that literally instantly. And they will then click that mission, so 100% scripted from your side, 100% control, because if you don't subsidize them, they will never get a level 2 advisor unless, you feed them half of the world, right? Then on the very scripted time that you want that to happen, you can subsidize them, they will click their missions, and then you get well-advised and scholar at the same time if you do it right. and if you completed all the other requirements before. And that is how I got all of these 3 insane traits over here with these crazy strong Finnish missions that you can see right now. 3 very, very strong traits on my ruler before he even was 20 years old. Okay, and the same thing I did with the ruler before that, which you can see has the traits entrepreneur as well as inspiring leader, and he had the scholar trait, but that became well connected from an event. So also very, very strong traits for that ruler. And the way I did that was with the missions of a small German miner named Bremen, okay? And that one actually has the old Hanseatic missions, which 2 of the missions give you 2 traits. So the first one gives you entrepreneur trait, so more trait efficiency, and the second one gives you inspiring leader trait for 5% morale. And you can very easily script to when they click that missions, because they need to have a few more provinces, a little bit more higher force limit that you can let them have if you build a few regimental camps, for example, in their capital, or shipyards for the naval force limit. And then I sold them the ships, the 15 light ships that they need for the mission, and then they could immediately click that, and I got these crazy strong traits on my ruler without any luck involved. And as I said, if you want to do that over and over again, I would recommend the 2 tags of Mamluks and Poland. They are very easily to repeat. And if you want to do it once, I can actually give you a little list right now on which traits you get from which mission trees, so that you don't have to search for that on your own. So basically what I said, entrepreneur, so the trait efficiency one, you get from the Bremen and Hamburg missions. These are exactly the same, but you can do this 2 times, right? Because you can do it once for Bremen and once for Hamburg, right? And also you actually get the entrepreneur trait from the Swedish mission tree, but I have to say it's a little bit harder to get that from the Swedish mission tree, so it would only be worth it if you already done it with Bremen and Hamburg, right? Then there is the inspiring leader trait for 5% more morale that you can also get from both mission trees of Bremen and Hamburg, so twice easily in a campaign if you want to go for that. Then there is the Conqueror trait that you can get very easily from the Ardabil missions, as well as quite easily also from the Venice missions. And of course, as I said repeatedly, or of course always from the Prussian mission tree. Then there is the Industrious trait for plus 10% more goods produced that I've had on my last 2 rulers already. You get that, of course, from Finland and Bohemia. Also remember, you could do that mission for Bohemia also if Bohemia is your subject as a personal union, right? So Finland and Bohemia. Finland is very easy. Bohemia is a little bit, I would say, medium difficulty to get that mission done. And then we have also Hormuz and Oman, okay? That both of their mission trees requires them to, conquer Yemen and so on. So you just need to feed them a few provinces on the Arabian Peninsula, and then they can click that mission, and you get industrious from both of these missions. You could, of course, get it first from Hormuz and then second from Oman, right? The Scholar trait, as I said, is quite easy to get from Finland. But of course, if you want to get it over and over again, just do it with Poland. Poland is very easy for that. So yeah, that is what I did in this campaign, and that is what you should do if you want that trait in a scripted way. Then we have Well Connected for minus 20% advisor cost, and that is very easy to get from Finland, but sadly there is no other nation except for Finland that has that, which means that you can probably only get this once per campaign in a scripted way, but you can get it via an event for a scholar ruler. So if you have a scholar ruler, you can trigger an event that changes the scholar trait to the well-connected trait. So you can actually get it also always theoretically through the Poland missions. Then we have the architectural visionary trait for minus 10% construction cost, which you can get from Lithuanian missions, and also quite easy, except for the fact that they need to have 55 loyalty for all the states at some point. So it might take a few years for them to complete that mission first. And then last but not least, we have a very interesting one, which is called the Great Engineer, and it gives minus 15% construction cost as well as minus 50% construction time, which is a crazy strong modifier, honestly. And you can get that from the Emperor of China missions, okay, which theoretically everyone could get if they are like a Chinese warrior tag and become the Emperor of China. But of course, there is a very easy nation that always has these missions, which is Ming, of course. So you can easily just, let Ming be destroyed and then make them a personal union and then click that mission from them, which is actually very easy to script. So you can get the Great Engineer personality trait. And with that, I want to end this video. Of course, the last part extended the video a little bit, but I just thought it would be interesting to know for most people where to get these personality traits easily. So I hope you enjoyed this little talk about personalities and also how to actually gain the best personalities in game every single time on every single ruler before he even turns 20 years old. So that's it for today with the video, and we're going to see, as always, on the next Monday.